Robert, Manchester United versus Bournemouth, it was 2-2. These are going to be your five things we learn from the game. We'll be analysing the game, we'll be going deep diving into some things as well. So don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing that we learned from the game is that United have been robbed by the referees. We have to talk about it because this is not the first time it's happened by Manchester United. Those two fouls are completely identical in my opinion, and we've seen it everywhere, all over social media. It's completely the same foul in my opinion. And the fact that Harry Maguire gets a red card and the penalty gets given and United don't get the penalty and then ultimately Bournemouth go and score is just a disgrace in my opinion. And as I said, we haven't seen it just in this game. We've seen it time and time again before. It's just poor decision making by the referee, and that's ultimately cost United 3 points. Because if that pen gets given, assuming Bruno Fernandes scores it, United are in the lead in the game. Now we can't obviously United should have done better, and there were chances in the game, but that decision massively affected the game. And again, it's not this game. I remember in the Burnley game, it was like a tiny push from Martinez and Kyle Walker. The goal didn't get given. The Premier League come out and after said that they made a mistake. Like, we can't allow it to happen anymore. It's poor decision making. But again, looking at that, United have to score and take the chances, in my opinion. Yes, the refereeing has been poor, but it has been poor for a while, and you can't really rely on that for reasons why United don't get to the Champions League. But United they find themselves in a good position, 4 points above Villa, who they have a game in hand on United, 6 points over Liverpool, 6 points over Chelsea, all who are still left to play. So we've got some decent distance in there, which is something that was positive. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the referee because it was just such poor decision making by him. The fact that he stops, checks the decision, and still don't give it is embarrassing in my opinion. Now, the second thing that we learned, Cunha is a threat. Cunha for me was United's best player in the game, alongside Bruno Fernandes. He was a constant threat. The penalty that he won was fantastic. It's a great bit of play by him to control the ball, then turn, go past or go in through two players and win the penalty. His overall performance was fantastic, and that's quite a few good performances in a row. I genuinely thought against Newcastle he was brilliant. I thought against Villa he was good, and again against Bournemouth I think he was fantastic. He's a very good player. He just looks like a United player. He's added more things to his game, more strings to his bow. And I think someone more recently has probably been. He's looked better than in Bournemouth, and I think he's definitely been someone who's slowly having his impact in the team. As I said, he's not getting goals and assists, but he had a big part to play in the penalty in the game, and I think he's someone who's having a lot of contributions in the team. His work rate's not unnoticed. I think he's someone who puts a lot of shift in, but I still do all the players in Bournemouth, Ahmad, all the attackers are putting in a lot of work. But Cunha is something that I've been very impressed with. He is a threat. He's a very good player. He's someone who I highlighted from the game having a very, very impactful game, and I think his goals and assists are beginning to increase. And yeah, listen, there were chances in the game where we could have scored, but ultimately he wins the penalty, and that's all more I can ask for, really. The third thing we learned is the midfield did get overrun. Listen, there were many times in the game where we see Bournemouth just running at an empty midfield, and I think that's the one detriment of Casemiro. He don't have legs. There was the time is very early on in the game. Casemiro was literally in the 6 yard box, and Bournemouth almost scored. I think Ryan plays it across, and they don't get the goal. But again, that midfield has been exposed many times, and we did see that in the game, in my opinion. I think the midfield is something that we know we're going to improve, and we need improvement on it. And I think that's just something that I noticed in the game. At times when we obviously do get counter-attacked on, the midfield is going to be exposed. But I think that did happen quite a few times, and ultimately the first goal come from that. It's a counter-attack, midfield out of position, and it's a great goal by Ryan Christie into the far corner. But yeah, the midfield did get exposed. Now the fourth thing, Saint Lamont, I thought he was fantastic. He deserves a lot of praise. Yes, he conceded 2 goals, and that can definitely shadow away from it. But you look at the crosses that he claimed, the recoveries, the saves that he made, some few decent saves. There was a one from Tavernier. Yes, he was offside, but he didn't know that and he made the save. He had a good bit of fortune with the ball coming off the bar and hitting him on the back and going out for a goal kick. He made that great save from Ryan. I think one thing that I've been impressed with is calmness and composure. Like, there was a few first passes in for him from like Dallo and Ahmad, and he just controlled it and booted the ball long. He's someone who's comfortable on both feet, which obviously does help. I think he's someone who is a massive asset for Manchester United. And again, it's hard to kind of praise the keeper when he has conceded 2 goals, but you look at the goal, the first one was just tucked in the corner. Don't forget the keeper saving that, and the second one is just a great finish by Crippy Jr. like his side netting. So yeah, no keeper's going to save that, but I think it's definitely impressive from Le Mans. I really do like him as goalkeeper. He's improved this team. I think it's 3 defeats in like 20 something games with Le Mans in net. So yeah, he does massively improve this team. He's someone who we do really like, and I think he's someone who had a big impact on this team. So yeah, there's 4 things I believe. So Premier League, I talked about Le Mans, I talked about Cunha, and I talk about the midfield. So the fifth and final thing, I could talk about a multitude of things, but I want to talk about um, Bruno Fernandes, because Bruno Fernandes again in this game was brilliant. I think the whole team put in a shift. I thought in Bournemouth, yes, he did struggle, but his defensive work rate was definitely there. I think Bruno Fernandes is the catalyst. Now we don't know if he has been given the assist, but he's someone who definitely does have a big part to play in this team. As we know, it's a great goal in a pressure moment for him. But I think he was someone who was trying to make things happen. As I said, it was always going to be a tough game going to Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. It was never going to be easy. There were moments where United were dominating in the game, and I think in that first half United should have had a few goals. It should have been 2 or 3-0 going into half time, but notoriously under Carrick, United have struggled in the first half. Then you look at in the second half, United struggled, and Bournemouth dominated bits of it, and then United get the goal, and it's a great goal, as I said, by Bruno. We should do better. I mean, we showed fight then to get the second goal, and then it's just a lapse of concentration, I'd say, by Maguire. But then the fact that the penalty is not given before that is an absolutely ridiculous decision. But as I said, looking at the game, the grand scheme of things, it's 7 wins out of 10 for Michael Carrick, 2 draws and 1 loss in that. We currently find ourselves in third. And yes, listen, we can't really ask any more of Michael Carrick. He's beaten City, he's beaten Arsenal, beaten Spurs, got a draw with Bournemouth, which is tough to do. Not many teams have won at the Vitality Stadium. Pardon me. So yeah, it's positive that Carrick again is frustrated about the penalty and all of that. So is every fan. But if you look, as I said, the bigger picture is key. United need to get Champions League football this season. Yes, we can start looking at second, and if you want to do that, that would be a bonus. But solidifying our position in the top 4 is all United fans care about this season. So yeah, as I said, we've got 6 points on Liverpool, who play against Brighton, 4 points on Villa, who play tomorrow, I think, and then 7 points on Chelsea. So all those teams around United are dropping points. As I said, we've dropped 1, but at least we still got 1. If you don't win, if you can't win, don't lose, and United did that in the game. So yeah, they have been your 5 things. Let me know your thoughts.